What is going down, Respawn fans? And for new people that are spawning in for the first time at the MacGyver7 channel, my name is Mac. Hit that subscription bell and accompany it with a notification, and you'll be getting all the future patch notes that roll out from Respawn on the Apex Legends and beyond. Let's go ahead and slide into the gaming news today and see what has changed. As we're joined over here on Twitter, we can see that the Respawn team is pursuing several options as of yesterday on the crackdown in cheating. They were hiring more people to focus in the manual bans. Sweet, I guess. Developing more tools to automatically detect. Very sweet, no guess. Investigating ways to quickly catch and remove cheaters from the game to make it a fair, awesome environment. Super awesome. But moving on past that, as they continue to say cheaters suck and all this other crap, well, what's the real freaking update? Real update's right over here. As we can see on the 28th that they did tweet out that today, the 29th, that we will be joined by the School Town and the return of the upcoming arena updates. So they're going to be tethering more stuff to what they have already put inside of this update that went live within the last 24 hours. On top of that, we have some heirlooms and more that is going to be inside of this situation. But let's go ahead and see if we can find some more info. And this is one of the reasons why I freaking love Reddit. The front page of the internet, ladies and gentlemen. And it's here. As of about 6 hours ago, most people have been greeted by this, and you can get your heirlooms. 29,000 crafting materials saved up. This person was definitely ready to boogie. Now, for as far as what the discussion is in the future patch notes, what they had discussed in the past, you can see that this thread is full of useful information that they lack to put out everywhere else on the web. But thank goodness, you can see some nice screenshots as we come over. You can see the return to Skull Town inside of its coming portion of the arena. And then we have some Genesis rewards and the collection events, which are pretty freaking cool. You can kind of see some stuff for as far as which we can definitely take a little bit more of a closer look for as far as that. The rewards also are unlockable, starting for as far as the freebies inside of the Genesis collection. And as we scroll down after the very tail end of this video, we'll see that there's some pretty cool weapons that also accompany this as well. Now, for as far as the road portion of what we can see, what you're allowed to get into, and then going back over here, we can scroll down to see even more for as far as the 24 themes that they've had accompanied with this update. On top of that, we have the heirloom for as far as what was seen before. Very cool for as far as what we're going to get down to the Reaper and the ability. I think that's an amazing touch for as far as what can happen for as far as melee. Now, for the event portions, as you can see through the packs, what came down for the items, there's a different probability factor. So make sure that you have one event items, non-event items, and those will break down to different categories for as far as the 50-50 split on epic versus legendary, or the 70-20-10 split for rare, epic, and legendary. So the effects also come down to the store offers for as far as what the roadmap will come in from the 29th. We can be able to access these, and we can scroll down, and on July 6th going to the 13th, there'll be more collectible portions. So definitely do make sure that you're keeping track of the time if you're trying to get down to this. Legendary balances for as far as the updates inside of the Octane launch pads inside the cooldown is from 60 to 90, give or take, in this situation. So you're also going to read some portions for the slightly slimmer down hitbox. So they have had some more adjustments to those. Well, you can see where the stalker inside of the climb height significantly increases. It's not literally unlimited now, but they can get down to the portions of having some real cool climbing portions. On top of that, for as far as the silent duration from 20 to 15 seconds, and reduce the duration of death and the protection by 5 seconds while utilizing a death totem. Now, looking at for as far as the lifeline, they increase the hit box size and mostly inside the legs and the waist, so make sure we are looking for the new versus the old. And on top of that, for as far as the Bloodhound and the Eyes of Allfather and the Beast of the Hunt, that for as far as the Allfather will be a decreasement from 4 to 3, and the Hunt will come down from 35 to 30. For as far as the Watson portion for the major buff, Watson now can be placed more than one inside of the map for as far as the epic emotes. looking at for as far as the balances we'll see inside of the update for the P2020, the increasement on the fire rate goes from a 6.25 to a 7.0. On top of that, the base ammo increases by 2 from a 12 to 14. The mag size on level 1 goes from 14 to 16, level 2 16 to 18, and level 3 and 4 go from 18 to 21. Spitfire also hip fire speed increases, and the 3030 Reaper slightly increases the projectile speeds and reduces the charge time from a half a second to literally a 0.35 of a second. So when we go down to the longbow, the increasement in the damage goes up by 5 by going from 55 sliding up to 60, and the arena update, which comes down to where we can see price adjustments. So we can see that certain unlock items and utilities inside of the arena match. So for P2020 goes from the levels of 50 to 25, level 2 is 125 to 75, and level 3 200 to 150. As we can see, the RE45 from the 250 to 200, the EVA from the 250 to 300, and we have the Mastiff from the 500 to 400, the R99 from 550 to 500, and the Volt 500 to 550. Spitfire also does an increasement for as far as the 550 to 600, the L-Star from 400 to 500, and as we scroll down we can see the R301 level 2 upgrade from 300 to 350. The G7 Scout gets a few increasements from the 350 to 400, also with the Scout level 3 upgrade, the 250 to 200. 3030 350 from the portion of pushing forward to 400, and you see 3030 again at level 3 going down to the portion of 250 to the greater portions of 200. On top of the situation for as far as the utility prices inside of the Arc Stars from 100 to 125, the Golden Backpack to 250 to 300, and legendary abilities and prices from the Crypto EMP for as far as 600 to 500, the Crypto Drones on top of the 100 to 50, and the Revenant Death Totem from 600 to 500. Lifeline Dock Drones from 50 to 75, and the Fuse Knuckle and the Clusters from 150 to 75. Blend Hound inside of that, it comes down to the 350 to 450, and we can see that the arena balances come into some gameplays for as far as the ability adjustments and Pathfinders, the grapples for as far as starting the charges and reducing the 2 from 3. Pathfinder zip lines and the cooldown increase every round to every other round. On top of that, for as far as the cooldowns and rounds, as they also reduce in the 3 rounds over the other rounds. On top of Watson's, for as far as where the Inception Pylon round cooldown increases for as far as every round versus the every other round, which they seem to be going into. And you have the Octane Launchpad cooldown increasements every round versus the every other round. So as far as where they go inside of the Octane stim, starting the charges inside of the portions of reduced to 2 from 3. So looking at the other for as far as scoreboard menu, you can see where they're kind of making some adjustments. And if you're on PC, the reported pressing space and Y for as far as getting access to those. For as far as 3 rounds and portion of where we can go inside of the stings and other portions there, we're coming down to crashes in the arena maps, which were the circle, logic, favor, downtown a little bit, and the simplified mini map in the visuals. The phase runners also came down to the height and certain props that were going through that were unfair advantage, on top of the situation where a few trees reduced an easier spawn portion for sniper. Look at that portion for as far as the arena bugs continue. The UI and the purple devotion now shows to attach to the turbocharge, as well as the players no longer be chosen as a jump master during the legendary select screen update inside of the sniper stock to show the empty slot when needed. And top of that, we can see that it gets no longer stuck inside of the crouch position after dying and reviving a teammate during the round of arena. On top of the quality of life changes, Valkyrie comes down to a nice gameplay portion of the UI, as you can kind of see where the fuel inside of that runs. On top of that, for as far as the Rampart, we can see that the custom LMG reload and impact in the time. Miscellaneous comes down to a whole new ballpark, as we near the end of these patch notes. On top of the added VO for the unlimited is ready and not ready, for as far as when it is unlimited, it gets 100%, and the promotes tells your team with the new VO for each legendary. On top of that, at the point of time, you can ping the unlimited icon for as far as it in your inventory to show the teammates the percentages of where you are in quick chat. VO also comes down to that for as far as the replicator and teammates that know are crafting won't leave the behind. For as far as the VO pinging friendly, for as far as the trident, in addition the neutral and enemy states that already exist. On top of that, for as far as now you can turn off the FOV scaling in certain portions and the abilities to be utilized, so look into the options. On top of the reduced frequency inside of the ring and the ending near the out of bounds area, like the cannon wall or the map at the edge. On top of the healing items that now players can come down to the healing sound when utilizing on other players instead of just beginning and end. Muting players will now also mute the text inside of the speech, so you don't have to read what they're saying. We're just trying to have some zen moments. Bug fixes come down to the Bloodhound, the passive tracker for no longer shown in the end game of the screen, the Cossack for as far as the fixed an issue with the enemies not getting highlighted inside of the Cossack knockbacks, and the fuse for as far as players can now see the number of grenades in the grenade stack when viewed on the floor. Fixed the 1P arm for as far as the color inside of the board to death to the match of 3P view. On top of the fuse no longer can produce a third arm, and the ADS scene for as far as utilizing the tactics at the same time. For as far as the Gilberator, we can see that it's being stuck by the direct hit for as far as the knuckle cluster will no longer cause the gun shield to take an unnecessary damage. Gibby's unlimited portion for as far as no longer damaged a friend at the horizon alt, and that shield no longer takes an additional bleed through the damage. The horizon comes down to a better horizon as we see the tactics no longer ascend for as far as the gas traps or the octane jumps inside of the pads in the heavens. Fix the portion of the appearance of the teeth on the golden bosun skin, as well as the lifeline gets a fix for as far as it will no longer have the wrath animation while inside of the box ring. Enemy care packages will now have a loot if the enemy's lifeline leaves the game before it lands, and the fixed issues continue with preventing the lifeline tactics inside of the function properly while inside of the gas. Loba comes down to some fixes as it completed another pass to prevent the Loba getting an unallowable portion of in the areas, as well as the issues causing the tactic portion of improperly failing in the phase running map in the arena. On top of that, the tactics improperly disrupted the horizon inside the gravity lift, and the Mirage correctly now has the flickering portion of the lobby. Looking at for as far as the Octane, for as far as the adzine portions of the ADS coming into the while compounding bow in the ×3 sight, so Octane now has full throttle. On top of the portions of the Pathfinder, no longer swapping weapons faster inside of the holster animation is cancelled, and the zip line pass for as far as the arena map and the Pathfinders get into unfair positions. The Rampart comes down to a lot of fixes for as far as the logic error when the Wrath portal at the same time as the pass. We can see that there's more places to place the amped wall on the Olympic. Audio issues come down to the tactics when crossing quarters, on top of the disappearing off the rampart's back if shot during the emotes. We can see the players will no longer fall underneath the grounds when utilizing portions of certain slopes, and the Revenant in the Death Totem can now be damaged from firing inside of their Valkyrie as far as the environments that pass inside of the alt areas not meant to enter. The amped coverage for as far as longer pushing the enemies inside of the Geo skyward dive is initiated near it. The alt of the Valkyrie UI no longer remains on the screen when switching to a POV view, as well as the first person view no longer obstructs when utilizing the shield batteries. An issue was fixed, as well as the canceled when being hooked by the Valkyries. Oh, Watson no longer has the Wrath animation inside of that ring box, as we explained before. It was a little redundant on their part, but this is a pretty good patch note, so they probably just forgot. They put it twice. On top of that, for as far as the epic emotes and the fall down, Cian, which we know in the Wrath portion, sometimes potentially improperly, appears often over the players entering before closed. Other fixes come down to various portions that you can see, from FPS, matchmaking, switching between the handheld modes. You can see the addressed audio switches in the Phoenix kits. The Fight Night on side of the Olympus no longer glitches out when gunfires solve the performance, causing a large number of the portion on Steam on the Origins, as well as the knocked legends can now come down to the inner doors inside of the Explosive Hold in normal. Scopes also no longer flicker for as far as the ADSing and utilizing the bow when riding a trident. On top of the ADSing inside of the bow comes down to riding the zip line. The flickering has been solved, resolving the issues for as far as the prevented VO pinging for as far as the teammates, fixed their issues with the lobby for as far as joining. For sometimes the prevented players from that, solved issues from preventing respawn from the audios from triggering the properly. On top of the buttons in the hitbox and the club tab, the reject invites from the club tab, as well as issues preventing it appearing inside the death box. Consuming the points of in the interface should no longer show up as the podium screen, as well as the resolve inside of the rare allowed the shield battery even when the shield to fully come into place, as well as the preventing inside of the colorblind inappropriate colors coming into the enemy's health bar now should be fixed, as far as also the colorblind settings that they have properly applied the tracking inside the legendary tab and address some of the issues that were coming down to the silent portions of the players. Also solved the bug that was the death UI being shown to players who reconnected early in the match. Random music packages no longer play by default inside the screen, and fix the VFX issues inside of the legendary shield. So everyone, kind of a huge update, a little bit. You can see why my PlayStation 4 was a little bit huffing and puffing, as well as my PlayStation 5 was just breezing with this update. So I will see you guys and gals in the near future. If you're newer to the network, you can always like, share, and subscribe if you came across the channel and you have invested at least about 18 minutes of your life into it. Cheers. Thank you so much. I'll see you guys and gals in the near future for more game-related news, and the future patch note will definitely be a little bit shorter. This seemed like a really big drop from Respawn. So leave a comment down below on how you're enjoying this, and I'll see you guys and gals there.